All right, son. First game of the season did not start out the way that we had hoped. Our boys went down 27-13. I don't think we were too surprised that the boys lost, but it was how they lost. Let's give you first before we break down the offense and defense. What's your initial take on the game?
My initial take on the game was, I think it's just I would call early season struggles. I think the team is, we know who our identity is, but I think it's a struggle of trying to get back to it because we do have two different coaches. I get that they've been groomed, or you can say quote unquote groomed to be in these positions. They knew that these were going to be our new coordinators, but I think that there was some struggles, especially with that. So yeah, I think there was just a lot of early season woes.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. It definitely appeared that way. It could be because of the coordinators. I know a lot of folks were saying that they think that it was the coordinators that they called a terrible game, and that the fact that the Lions didn't play together in the preseason had more that might have played a part in it. With new coordinators, there were some fans when I was on Twitter saying that they probably should have played more in the preseason, so the new offensive line and the revamped defense could have got maybe a couple of plays together under the new coordinators. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think that would have really made much of a difference. No, because it's not like you're getting that high level competition in the preseason, anyways. I mean, I guess maybe people are saying that, okay, like them being an official game could help, but I mean, they go through practice so much that their chemistry should already be there regardless. You can't really get a true test other than just going against one of the better teams in the division like they did today.
I would have to agree. I would have to agree. Because they seem to struggle on defense, I want to look at some of these stats. Let's look at the defense first. Let's look at let's look at Green Bay. Let's kind of see what looked good. Jordan Love, 16 for 22. They pretty much held Josh Jacobs in check, I would say. 19 for 66. He did have that touchdown. The receivers, it seemed like they were really dogging the Lions, but when you look at these stats, I guess they didn't do much. But then again, I guess Love hit a lot of receivers. But let's look at the Lions defense and see what stands out. Jack Campbell led the way with 5 tackles, 0 sacks, son. Zero sacks.
Right.
Let's start with the defensive line. What is your take on the defensive line? Defensive ends and defensive tackles.
Well, for a minute, I was very excited with the defensive line, especially run game wise. We saw that the Packers were trying to work in Josh Jacobs, and we pretty much were stonewalling him, especially in the first half. He really didn't get much the whole game. They actually really only started working us about in the fourth quarter, but the pass defense was absolutely terrible. It was so terrible. It was reminding me of like 2017 Lions. Essentially, like Jordan Love was never uncomfortable. I mean, he was in his rhythm literally immediately, and he never got out of his rhythm ever. I mean, he made like a few bad passes in the first quarter, and that was it. They never made him uncomfortable. They never pressed. They never got any pressures. It's not like it was like some surprise that they double teamed Hayden Hutchinson. So we knew they were going to do that. We knew that they were going to disrupt them somehow. It's very clear that we need some kind of help on the pass rush, or rather it's coming up with better schemes to get people back there, or putting certain players in at certain times. I don't know, but the pass rush was terrible. It was really bad, and it's only going to get worse when we go against, our road schedule is the hardest in the league. So yeah,
I have to agree with you on that. I only saw Jordan Love quote unquote pressured a couple of times. And the only person who really got in on it was Pat O'Connell on that play. I want to say it was the same play where Brian Branch got the interception that got overturned. That was like the only pressure that we really saw on Jordan Love. I mean, he got hit a couple of times, but there was no pressure. And then, I was expecting to see something. Did you even hear Talik Williams' name called? I know he's a rookie, but I was expecting something from him.
no, I did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about Marcus Davenport? I mean, I heard people online saying did he even play?
Yeah, the one pressure we thought he had was O'Connor, so no.
Okay.
But I saw Davenport a few times. I don't remember. Yeah. I thought he did have a couple pressures, but it wasn't enough.
I'll be honest with you. The pressure I thought was him was actually Pat O'Connell. So I thought that Davenport didn't do much. What about what's your thoughts on the linebackers? Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Anzalone.
I thought the linebackers looked decent, especially with the run defense. But I mean, like I said, in the pass defense, it wasn't that good. I mean, they just kept because of all the man coverage, they kept being put in spots where they basically had to be on the field covering people for 4 to 5 seconds at a time, and that's just not feasible. We know tight ends are, especially in today's league, most tight ends are probably more athletic than your average linebacker, especially someone like Anzalone and even Jack Campbell. It's pretty tough to keep up with someone when they're running across the field and then completely 40 yards up the field. So yeah, I thought the linebackers looked decent. I mean, there was some plays by, I guess, Anzalone could have changed the game with that interception, completely
Yeah.
changed the game. But I mean, he's not really supposed to. I mean, that's not really his job. I mean, it's his job to get stops, but no one's really expecting him to get crazy picks. So I thought they looked decent.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go with that. I thought that they looked decent. I thought they did a good job stopping the run. I didn't see a lot of runs, if any, get past the linebackers. And I have to say, Talik Williams, I was just looking, he did have 2 tackles. I just don't remember them.
Yeah.
And Davenport had 3 tackles, and I just don't remember them. That's kind of how forgettable they were. What about the DBs, the corners, and the safeties? What's your thoughts?
I thought the corners looked pretty terrible for the most part. It did seem like Romeo Dobbs had like 4 or 5 catches, but either way, the catches that he had were really big. Um, I'm not going to get on Turno too badly because, I mean, I guess he was hurt or whatever because he looked off out there. He was getting cooked quite a bit. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to get killed by Romeo Dobbs like that. DJ Reed was looking pretty bad for a while, but they weren't throwing to him too much, to be honest. But he actually started to lock in as the game went on. They just looked average. I don't think DJ Reed's any better than Carlton Davis, who we for some reason don't have. But yeah, I don't think they just looked all right. Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph didn't look how like the all-pro safeties that they normally look like. They just looked okay. Yeah.
I'm definitely with you on the safeties. Brian Branch has some decent plays, but Kirby Joseph was nowhere to be found. He had 1 tackle, and I don't really remember seeing him the whole game. Like, I didn't see him ball hawking. We thought after last season, we thought that he was the new Ed Reed, but we didn't see him around the ball. Jordan Love was just killing the middle of the field, finding that soft zone. And I know that a lot of this is on the players, but I still think that Kelvin Shumpert didn't adjust. And then the reason that, to be honest, that 2 of those touchdowns that the Packers had was because he was bringing the safeties up, or he was bringing the linebackers in the blitz. The line, you can't bring a blitz like that and leave the corners basically out to dry. And you have to find a way to drop certain guys in coverage. Not Marcus Davenport. There was a play that he was like 12 yards back in coverage. I think that's trying to be too cute. Let the defensive end put his knuckles in the ground and go after the quarterback. Let's talk about the offense, son. 13 points, man. I saw people on Twitter. I was tweeting during the game, son, and people were saying, I guess it was Ben Johnson. What is your thoughts on the offense before we break them down individually? Like, let's say the offensive coordinator. Let's go with him.
Just talking about the offensive coordinator.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think the offensive coordinator was just trying to let Jared Goff. I don't know. I don't know what to say about him. I mean, it was just really boring. I was surprised that Jared Goff even went 31 for 39. Most of the routes that he threw were really short. I mean, I don't know. There was nothing particularly bad that I thought the offensive coordinator did. I don't know. I think it was just if you can't run the ball, like, then you're probably not going to win the game, right? Like, people can't complete a basic inside zone. Like, I don't know. Well, kind of like, but yeah, I don't think the coordinator did anything inherently that was too bad in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, Ben Johnson's certainly more creative, I guess. But yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I guess if I had to give him a grade, I'd give him like a C because we didn't score any points. But I more blame Jared Goff for that. The offense just looked super stagnant and boring. I think the Packers defense is just really good, and people kind of have to understand that. Like, Micah Parsons is really good. He changed the game completely, and he barely even played. So, yeah, I think the Packers are really good, and we're, like, confused. Like, they're really good where they could win a Super Bowl. Like, so, yeah, I don't blame the offensive coordinator that bad or the defensive coordinator. But, yeah, I guess we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah. You already mentioned this about Jared Goff, 31 for 39, 225, 1 pick, 1 touchdown, 5.8 average yards, 5.8. Do you think that Jared Goff looked like, I would say, his normal self, or did he look worse than usual?
No, he looked like his normal self. I don't know. Yeah, he looked like his normal self. He always does that kind of stuff. And that's where maybe you could say Ben Johnson comes in because but then at that point, I'm just saying that Jared Goff is like a mediocre quarterback, which I kind of been saying that for a while. I just think he's a game manager. I don't know. I get Tony Romo saying he's underappreciated, but I disagree. I mean, the 31 for 39 was like fake. I can't believe it even was. Those were all checkdowns. How do you throw 30 passes? You're not above. You only have 20 yards. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, that seems like a 280 to 320-yard game, don't it?
Yeah, if Jordan Love would have kept that rate, he would have had 4 touchdowns and almost 400 yards. So yeah, I do blame the coordinator a little bit. I mean, we were averaging 405 yards a game last season, so that does have to fall on him a little bit. But I mean, like I said, it seemed like they are ready for everything. We tried to work Jameson Williams on an end around. They would shut that down. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would have liked to see more deep shots. That's the only thing I would like to see more. There was no deep shots at all. So yeah.
Yeah, not at all. What about
Jahmyr Gibbs had 10 receptions? Like what? Okay,
yeah.
sorry, you go.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say, speaking of which, let's talk about the running game. 46 total yards. That is what I think did it. That's not what I saw coming. 2.1 yards a carry, 25 by Montgomery, 19 by Gibbs. What's your thoughts on the running game?
Yeah, the running game looked pretty bad as well. But I think that starts to come in where I guess people like I can kind of agree with what people are saying, where it would have maybe helped to have us play in the preseason because that young line, I know they were messing up on pulling and trying to do stunts and things like that. So I thought the running game was bad, but I think it's never going to get better as the season progresses. But yeah, it was pretty disappointing today.
What's your thoughts on people saying that this is the reason why we should have re-signed Kevin Zeitler?
Kevin Zeitler, who's that?
The right guard from last year that we had, who, even though he's 33, he played outstanding last year, and we let him go to the Titans because he wanted more money.
I mean, that's the fair statement to say. I don't know who. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who we have on the right side right now.
The rookie, Tate Ratledge.
All right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he's 33. If he wanted too much money, then he wanted too much money. I mean, I don't know. I disagree. I mean, I think Tate Ratledge would just have to get better. It was one game. So yeah.
Okay. You know what? Speaking of that, before we get to the receivers, let's just jump to the offensive line. Left tackle Taylor Decker, Christian Mahogany was at the left guard. Glasgow is now playing center because of Frank Ragnow retiring. The rookie Tate Ratledge at right guard, Penei Sewell at right tackle, who took on Micah Parsons pretty much most of the time that he was in the game. What was your thoughts on the offensive line, and what grade would you give them, this new offensive line?
I would have to give them a C+. I mean, they looked really good. And wait, no, they actually, I guess I'm more focused on what Penei Sewell did. Okay, so I would have to give them a C-, actually. They didn't absolutely get picked apart by Micah Parsons and company, but it was getting there. I mean, Jared Goff got sacked 4 times. I don't know how many times he was pressured. They couldn't do anything with the run defense. So, yeah, I have to give them like a C-. They didn't do that well.
What irritates me about his son is that they traded Kenny Clark to get Micah Parsons. Kenny Clark was the guy who plugged the middle of their defense, and he's gone. Mm-hmm. Yet and still, the Packers defensive line still got a lot of push in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, for what it's worth, I don't think that Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell were getting really cooked. I thought they did a good job against Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons. I thought that a lot of the trouble came from the interior. Well, let's move on to the receivers. You see right here on the screen, son, Gibbs led the way. He had 10, but just for 31 yards, 6 for Laporta, 4 for St. Brown. Jameson Williams, 4 for 23, who just got an extension. 4 receptions for 23 yards. Montgomery, 4 for 18 yards. Like you said, son, these are check downs. Khalif Raymond, 2 for 16. And then, of course, the one by Tesla, which was a touchdown. What was your thoughts on the receivers?
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. But, okay, as I start to realize, I might have to blame the coordinator a little bit. I mean, but then again, there wasn't really any chances for them to throw the ball downfield. I don't know if that's because the Packers were literally locking them up like that, or it's because Jared Goff never had a chance to get comfortable in the pocket. Yeah, there was no deep shots downfield, and every pass seemed like it was a check down, literally. So I can't really even say much about the receivers. I'd give them a C grade. They weren't able to showcase their skills too much. There weren't too many drops. They were just all boring passes. Yeah. So I just thought they were okay.
I agree. Yeah, Jared Goff, I can't pinpoint what it is either. So I have to agree. He did not go deep. I agree with you. I don't think he went deep one time.
No.
And by deep, I mean like past 12 yards.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
Not one time. And I know you mentioned that you saw the Packers in like a weird type of cover 3. I don't know if that was literally giving him fits, but see, I always go back and say, when you see something like that, isn't it on the coordinator to adjust and say, okay, they're not giving us anything deep, so this is what we can do to begin to get yardage. It just seemed like the Lions seem they seem rusty, they seem stagnant. It just seemed like they couldn't get anything going, to be honest with you.
No.
And next week, Sunday, we have the Bears at home. And of course, they don't play till tomorrow, so we don't know how they're gonna look.
It's gonna be a tough game.
I think so too. Yeah, they were.
After seeing this, yeah.
After seeing this, yeah, it does seem that way, don't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game.
At first, I'm thinking 28-17, something like that. It seemed like it's going to be a tougher game. And I believe that Ben Johnson was watching his old team today.
Yeah, and the question will be answered. Is it Ben? We'll see if it's Ben Johnson tomorrow. We'll see. Because I'm gonna be watching that game. So yeah, we'll see if it's the coach.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Well, did we miss anything, son?
No, I don't think so. Let's just hope we can bounce back next week.
Yeah. Lions fans, to be honest, I'm not even. I was telling my son when we got to the end of the game, I'm not even really like that down. It's one game. It's against literally one of the top 5, in my opinion, top 5 best team in the league, and probably at least last year, one of the best divisions in the league. But I told my son that for those of you who don't remember this, in '91, the Lions lost that first game way worse than this against the Washington Redskins. And they went on the last 15 games to go 12-3 the rest of the season and made it to the NFC Championship game. I just think that it's going to get better. I just think that some adjustments need to be made. I have faith in Dan Campbell that they will make those adjustments these next 6 days and handle the Bears on Sunday. One last thing I would like to say. I know all you Lions fans know this, but Zadarius Smith signed with the Eagles. The Eagles didn't like what they saw after just one game at pass rusher, and they brought in Zadarius Smith. Do you think, son, if we had Zadarius today, that he could have made a difference, or do you think it was just going to be what it was?
I mean, I think it would have been negligible. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they got worked on both sides of the ball. So, I mean, I think he would have helped a little bit, though, for sure. I don't know why we didn't sign him. I guess people were saying it was pride with Aaron Glenn or something like that. But yeah,
that's what I said. I said Brad Holmes. I said I think I think that Brad Holmes is getting to the point where he's been such a good GM for us that his pride is getting in the way, and it's kind of like, I know what I'm doing. So we good. I know what I'm doing. That's kind of what I think is going on, but we could be wrong. Well, Lions fans, that's pretty much it. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can keep talking Lions football. You see our Twitter and our TikTok on the screen. Give us a follow over there as well. And we will see you all next week when we take on the Bears. As a matter of fact, the Lions Den will be in the house for the Bears game. So we're trying to come out of there with a victory.
Yeah.
Yep. Other than that, I guess that's all we got. Until next time. Peace.